We had a little power outage on our side. We apologize for our difficulties over here, but we back on. Roy, sorry about that, man. We're back on.
No
BB,
problem.
we're back.
Technology, right?
Technology nowadays, man.
Right.
Woo! We got about 15 minutes left, so go ahead, Lyra.
Yeah, no. What's it called? I know we were talking about the coaching. What's the difference between coaching and playing, and how you can impact certain things and all that. How has it been now with the younger generation of baseball, right? Because I know it's probably changed from the time you played. I know you coached high school baseball, but what would be the differences you've seen then to now? That it's like it's whether it be beneficial for baseball or not beneficial for baseball.
Man, that's an hour-long show.
We only got 15, 20
Yeah, we only
minutes
got
because
20 more
about
minutes, but hey.
you don't know what a
Man,
PC.
I mean, because I always try to, remember I was blessed to have, Willie Mays around me as a young player coming up with the Giants. Bobby Bonds was my hitting coach. And obviously, there were generational differences in how we play the game versus how they play the game. But it wasn't as dramatic as it is today.
Yeah.
We were more under the history and looking for the advice and approaches of those guys because we could apply it to our game. And I think with analytics and all the different things that we do have access to, it changed the game to where there's no feel for the game anymore.
Hmm.
We were taught about how to feel certain things where it came to positioning, hitting, base running, all these different things. And now you go to a showcase and they predicate young people's ability on, you know, basic metrics of how hard they can throw a ball, how hard the ball comes off the bat. And these are minute things that, to me, help you become a great player. When you're allowed to go out and like, again, get back to that word of fail from making mistakes, fail from misjudgments. These things that you learn from, now you become better in your judgment and your baseball IQ. And I just, as a shortstop for 17 years, every day I played was based on the field. Everything can change not just by day to day, but moment by moment. Take, for example, certain times of the day, Dodger Stadium, if it was high tide, the grass would be a little wet. So I'd have to, maybe take a couple steps back, knowing that I had to open up my range because the ball would squirt off the grass a little quicker.
Hmm.
That was vital to my positioning. But today, these guys take off their hat and they look in their hat and they're told where to stand, and they're not taking the natural factors of wind, conditions, high tides, low tides. None of this stuff is
Yeah.
even, learned to be the adjustments that are necessary for you to have a feel for the game, to be in the right place at the right time. So
Mm.
I'm not one to say, hey, I don't believe in analytics. We had analytics, we had stats, we had a lot of different things at our disposal. But I just think that technology has taken it way too far to where I'm just watching robots play that have no idea about the feel for the game.
Oh, well, you know what's so crazy about that too is they would say they're making the game easier for athletes. Like that would be the argument, right? Where it's like, hey, I'm telling you, we had analytics. I'm telling you where the ball's gonna get hit. That's my coaching to you. Is I'm gonna help you get to where you can make the easiest play possible, right? But in
Right.
reality, we're not making guys baseball's IQ any better at all. Like there's
No.
no because now I don't have to think. I just get told, and then hope that the ball gets hit to me. I just got to make the play now,
Yeah.
right? So
100.
there's no more of like that extra thinking of the grass, the dirt, the wind, all these things that you would be like, we still got to go through that. As coaches at the younger level, you got to still put all that into play. Hey, when the wind is kicking out, the ball's going to fly out. You got to, pick up the grass and check where the wind goes. You got to know these conditions. But then when they get to college or they get to the MLB or the minors, it's kind of like, well, shoot, I don't even have to do these extra things because
Yeah.
they're doing it for me. So I don't know. I think it's like at the younger stage, we're still teaching the old school baseball, which is great. But then when they get into sometimes even high school as well, but college and MLB, they're trying to make it like, I guess, easier for them. But in reality, are they really trying to enhance their baseball IQ as they should at the higher levels?
Right, and I agree. And you guys could testify to this because, like you said, you're teaching old school baseball, and these kids are trying to go to the next level, be appreciated for the talents that they bring to the ballpark every day. And a lot of those talents aren't into those analytical processes, so that player is not deemed as a good player. But we're sitting here scratching our head saying, why isn't anybody on this player? He's a great player. For example, I had a kid, Tommy Farmer, who great athlete, great smart kid, championship pedigree, 2022 CIF champion. Nobody was on him. No letters, no offers, no nothing. Texas has a camp, University of Texas. Mm-hmm. He goes out there and impresses them enough to where they give him a walk-on opportunity. And today he's their starting left fielder.
Wow.
So in their own backyard, how could all these other institutions, he would have gone to LMU, Pepperdine, Long Beach, but he wasn't good enough to play for you, but he's a starting, left fielder for Texas. It's just these things and projectables are just way out of kilter. So we teach them these things, and it's disheartening for them not to be rewarded is what I'm trying to say. Mm-hmm. But using that as an example, cream always rises to the top. And I encourage these young people, if you're not throwing 95 in high school, you don't have a spin rate, just keep playing, man, because somebody's going to recognize your talent. Somebody's going to recognize the fact that you can get out. Somebody is going to recognize that you have command of the strike zone. Somebody's going to appreciate the fact that you throw strikes. And you may not go to a showcase and impress because you don't have these metrics. And I just continue to tell young people, man, so what? You know what? Because if you ask any Major League Baseball team if they can get more strike throwers and had people that had command that can get ground ball outs, that can work deep in the ball games, they take them. And most importantly, stay healthy.
Not if Barry Bonds is hitting.
Oh,
and not if Barry Bonds, we don't need no strike throwers. Ain't that right, Royce? It'd be like this: 4, put them on.
Yeah. But it's just, so getting back to your question, it's just gotten to me, we sit here and scratch our head because, information is not looked for with the former players anymore. There's a lot of prominent players that are good coaches, not just because they're big league players that want to go in and help young players, but these, even especially at the major league level, they just don't want these minds around. Mm-hmm. They'd rather see somebody on YouTube and hire them to, train major league hitters because I don't know why, but this is the philosophy that they go with. And to me, you guys are qualified to coach at the next level because you have, coached and you have passion, you have knowledge. But if you don't dive all the way into this analytics, you're not going to get a job.
You think you think it's ever going to come back to normal?
No.
Nah, not anytime soon, huh? Or
no,
maybe never.
It's never going back.
Right.
It's never going back because it is.
Damn it, crush my dreams.
It is a case of what's the word I'm looking for? It's just like you got a buddy that you went to Harvard with, and you happen to be an assistant GM. Yeah. And you know him, and you guys used to play, Sega Genesis baseball together. You're going to hire him.
Yeah.
That's how it works. That's how it is today. Yeah. This guy never played baseball in his life. He's never picked up a baseball to see what scenes feel like. Picked up a bat, has no blisters on his hands.
But he can tell you that
get the job.
He's going to
get the job before you.
He can tell you that Royce Clayton hits the ball 90% to this side of the field. right? I mean,
I think, yeah.
it's like, oh, he tells you all the stuff that you need to know.
I mean, if we really wanted to, if we had the time, we could tell each other, yeah, I hit it more this side, I hit it this more this side.
Yeah.
The question is why? Because the guy's throwing me inside and the guy's throwing me outside, and then you get the baseball aspect of it.
Yeah.
But if you just go off of just like spinner rate, like that's why it was crazy because I didn't know about spinner rates and all that until recently. I'm like, dude, that's like spinner rates now. It's about this, that, and what type of like vertical from drop to bottom here it is, and I'm just like, damn.
I'm good. Well, what was his velo at? What was his curveball? Whatever. Like,
Yeah.
did he? How many leadoff guy out did he get? How many first pitch strikes did he get? Cool, I'm cool with that. Thanks. I don't need to know no spin rate and all this stuff. And it's about getting guys
And
out.
unfortunately, as you guys know, this taking it from the hitting side, and we can also talk about the pitching side. Our young athletes have bought into this because they want to go to the next level. So they're seeing this, and I'm seeing guys that are intimidated by velocity.
Yeah.
Because it's such a prevalent thing. Oh, this guy throws 87. This guy, man, I didn't give a shit about how hard this guy thought he threw the ball. Yeah. The harder you threw it, the further that shit was gonna go.
right.
And I'm gonna get the bat head there. I don't give a shit. But damn, I couldn't tell the difference between 95 and 97. Yeah. No difference.
Right. That's what you tell them. Throw me harder, meat. Yeah.
It's just gonna flatten out. Right. It's just gonna be straight.
Yeah.
And like I said, that's what we're breeding are young players that are fearful.
Yeah.
Fearful of velocity. Like they're intimidated. And if you're intimidated, you got no chance.
No chance.
So I want to be on the opposite end of it. I say, man, we love velocity. My teams were known in high school to dominate fastballs, so they had to go to secondary pitches. That's just the way I wanted it to be. You can get us out. You can strike me out on a curveball, but don't throw me a fastball in the hitting zone. I'm going to crush that shit.
Yeah. You heard that?
Damn.
There you go. Hey.
Woo,
these are good partners right here.
Hey, this PC better not die out on us again right now. This is getting good. Real. Man, so how was it being around all these major leaguers, Ollie Smith and Barry Bonds? I mean, they took you under their wing.
It was just funny, too, because I heard his approach the other day.
Frank Thomas, too, right?
Yeah. Played with so many great players, but Barry has me dying with the shit he's talking these days. I'm like, man, you didn't say none of this stuff when we were playing. Zero.
Yeah, did you hear what
making this shit up? I'm like, why is this dude making this stuff up?
Yeah, did you hear what he's
believing what he's saying? That's the funny part.
Yeah, he said something about he said, I don't care if you beat me. He says, as long as I put the ball in play and you don't strike me out, I won. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, like the pitcher could get me out, but you didn't get me out. He got me out. And he said, and there's a clip. He said, the pitcher didn't get me out. The second baseman got me out. So I beat you.
Man.
I said, what?
He lost his mind.
I'm like, damn.
Man, I always knew this dude be making up stuff because I was, he was like, my brother played ASU with Barry. So I known him since high school.
Mm-hmm.
So then when he came on the team in 93, I was like, man, like my big bro is here. We're going to have a good time. But the biggest thing that Barry had was this profound, amazing ability to focus and be dominant into knowing he was the best hitter that ever lived. And he took every at bat like that. If he was 0 for 10, 0 for 15, it didn't matter. Here's a great story of how his mindset worked. So Robbie Thompson was my double play partner. We lockered together. He was my mentor, great man. Big shout out to RT. So our Robbie was like on a 15-game hitting streak, locker next to me. And Barry was on the other side with his two lockers, never came over to the poor side of the neighborhood. He was over there in the penthouse. I said, yeah, you stay over there in the penthouse. We had fun with it. So Robbie's sitting next to me. We're getting ready. And Barry was struggling. So Barry walks up to Robbie, looks him dead in the eye. Didn't say nothing. Hello, nothing. Just looked at him dead in the eye and goes, dude, you're hitting like me and I'm hitting like you.
Oh, damn.
Robbie went 0 for 4 that day, man. He was so hot. He took his mojo.
But what are you supposed to do with that?
His confidence up and saying, you're hitting like me and I'm hitting like you.
Damn.
But what are you supposed to say to that? Like, wait, what? Like,
Wow.
Dude, his mouth hit the floor. It's
Right.
like, wait, what? What are you saying?
You don't say
Knowing
anything to
that
that.
Jerry was awful at the time, so he's basically saying,
Yeah.
you know, you're hot, you're great, you're hitting like me, and I'm hitting like you. 'Cause
Yeah.
you suck.
Yeah, for sure.
to your
Man.
teammate. Hey,
Man.
you know,
Yeah.
but
That's dope, man.
No,
Shit,
man.
he's one of a kind for damn sure.
Right?
he
Yeah.
hit the dot. He didn't hit the ball. He hit the dot
Yeah.
that he saw, and he hit it into the river.
He punished the Dodgers. He punished the Dodgers.
One thing I will say, because he was around the game with so many greats, and Dusty would even say, you know, because he'd come back in the dugout and talk about, you know, a lot of our era was like looking to tip, you know, guys tipping.
Mm-hmm.
And he could see stuff that I would go up there and my first couple of pitches try to see what he was talking about. And I was like, oh, heck no, I don't see none of this. He's like, man, his index finger raises to the right on the curveball and straight up. I'm like, man, I don't see none of that.
You come back in the dugout like, what are you talking about? And there was no iPads back then. There is no iPads
I was
back
just trying
then.
to see it.
Right. Man, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So what's up with Ozzie Smith? How was that? You were around him too, right?
Yeah, man. Big influence in my life, inspired me to play the shortstop position, and you know, as history would go, I replaced Ozzie in St. Louis, and
Yeah.
when we talk about adversity, you know, replacing your childhood hero, I look back at it, it was one of the toughest things that I've ever endured in my baseball life, but it made me so much stronger from, you know, every aspect of it, because, you know, the fans were on my back. I mean, I'm getting booed in front of 30,000 people every time I ran out on Busch Stadium.
Oh man!
Every time. And that was my home ballpark.
Just
So
because you took over that.
yeah, and Ozzie was still there. You know, Ozzie was there. He was, you know, they wanted to see Ozzie, and I'm running out there.
They want to see the flip. They want to see the flip.
They wanted to see Ozzie, but the biggest thing, you know, answering the media questions, dealing with that every single day.
Right.
I conditioned my mind in the right way. Say, hey, you know what? I just want to do what's best for the team. I'm trying to contribute. You know, I have awesome respect for him. I was saying the right things, but what I was saying, you know, understand the power of words is that I lived it because I was professing it. So I had to go out there and back up what I was saying, be a good teammate on days where I wasn't starting, support, and you know, we end up, you know, having an amazing season and should have beat the Braves. We're up 3-1, ended up losing. But you know, just from I talked about not playing. One of the biggest things that I look back on, I'd never won a championship, and that year we clinched in Pittsburgh. And for some reason, that day that we clinched, Tony played Ozzie. And my boys, Ray Langford, Brian Jordan, Ron Gann, all came back to me and said, man, you know what? You're the guy. You should have been out there celebrating with us. And it hurt me. I called my mom crying, man, because I wanted to be with my boys out there celebrating. I busted my ass every single day, and I didn't, you know, celebrate in the manner that I wanted to celebrate my first championship. But, you know, put aside the selfishness after that part of it, you know, looking back on it, regardless of, you know, me and Ozzie have always, you know, remained cordial throughout, you know, the time. It's gotten better over time. But just to look at it in a positive light, that adversity made me ready to deal with any circumstance that baseball had to dish out to me.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, man, because you had the fans going against you in the sense, right? You had all that, and at that level, you can't get that experience unless you're there, because you know
It's crazy. It was crazy, man.
You're not gonna have that, you know. And I think that's the big deal. And then, you know, it's like I don't know, it's like in the wrestling terms, heel and face. You were the heel in that moment, but then you became the face once you were able to go, and you became the face of other different franchises, and you had guys cheering you on and being that. I'm sure that was the best feeling of knowing to get booed and cheered. And you know, to be honest, a lot of greats. So I know you're great because they get booed and cheered.
Yeah,
any city to go to.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and one of the biggest things that, you know, I was able to watch him prepare. You know, he was 40 years old. I'm like, man, how's this dude still out here doing this? But I watched his preparation every day. I adopted a lot of that. And the other side of it was, you know, knowing what I went through and how difficult it was for me, I made a vow to myself that at the latter stage of my career, I was going to really focus on making it easier for a transition of a young player to do what I'm doing. Because not to say he handled it how he wanted to handle it, but, you know, when there was a chance for me to work with a Bill Hall, the list goes on and on, Wiki Weeks, I tried to help those guys. I wasn't worried about them, you know, taking pride and ego out the way and me being out there. I was trying to help them become better because it was my chance to give back. And, you know, that's pretty much been the story of my life is, you know, I've been blessed with so many guys that gave to me. I spend my life every single day trying to just give back all those great gifts and knowledge that, you know, those that came before me are part of my mentorship provided for me.
Yeah, I mean, just going back all the way from Harvard Park, all those guys that you were around when we first started this episode, you know, you named a lot of, you know, great guys that you've been around. And look at you now, man. You look at you now, you know, 3 D1 athletes running the clubhouse and, you know, doing a great job out there. Did a great job at Oaks Christian. And, you know, man, that's awesome. Happy for you, Royce, honestly.
No, I appreciate it. And that's the word legacy. You know, these people talk about, oh, what's your legacy? Your legacy is, you know, how many people you uplifted, man. And it's so tainted. I hate to talk about, you know, listening to these guys on sports talking about, well, his legacy is not going to be this if he doesn't do that. Like, man, this dude's legacy is going to be cemented in how many people's lives he touches.
Yeah.
That's the only way that you have any legacy. Because, you know, when you're gone, bro. Nobody gives a shit.
True.
But when those that came after you are still speaking your words and you never die.
Right. Damn. That's deep.
Legends are forever.
Yeah, man. Well, Royce, we're coming to an end here, man. Appreciate you logging on twice, not once.
Yeah.
3 times, I think. But this was fun. Shout out to PB for making this happen. PB, I'll see you in a bit at practice. But we're going to hit you with some rapid questions before we let you go. You ready for this?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, let's go. Pitch clock or no pitch clock?
No pitch clock.
Yeah, I think I know all the answers to these since you're old school. favorite player of all time?
Ozzie Smith.
Yep, I figured that one. DH or no DH?
No DH.
Man. Pitch comp or no pitch comp?
I don't even really know what that is, but no.
No?
That's a walkie-talkie in the ear.
Yeah.
Hell no.
Man, these are really old school answers, huh?
Yeah.
I love it. All right. Favorite kind of seeds?
I'm old school Davids.
Damn. Those are all old school
David?
answers. I love it.
The Davis Ranch are really good. I always like the Davis Ranches.
Love it. All right, man. Go ahead, Lira.
Yeah, no, appreciate it, man. Thank you again for coming by and being our special guest for episode 41, man. It's I know we're coming up on our 1-year anniversary of getting the podcast started in April, so we're excited for that.
Appreciate it, man.
Appreciate it. Thank you, man. And
keep doing what you guys doing, man, and keep the coaching thing going because we need good coaches like you guys are. And much as, you know, sometimes you're not appreciated, I know it's tough. And dealing with the parents, it's just like, man, we need coaches in every community. We need coaches at every level. Yeah. And hats off to what you guys do, man. Continue to do what you do.
We're going to have to head over to the clubhouse, check it out one of these days.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, I bet. I got to go check that out real quick.
But
I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
But alrighty, thank you guys for watching. Hit the like button, the subscribe button. Get us to 200. That's our goal right now. We're 11 away. Let's get to 200, and then the next one after that would be the next goals, man. We appreciate it. Stay tuned for more guests coming in, more great ones. Thank you again, Royce, for everything, and we out.
Appreciate it, Royce.
All right, fellas.
All right, man.
Peace.
Peace.